Hello, everyone. Whoa. Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of Yellowjackets Season 2 finale storytelling recap. Spoiler, we're going to talk about what happened in this episode. So go ahead and just leave if you haven't watched it. I feel ridiculous even having to say that, Rory, because people tune into this stuff and I don't know what they're expecting.
What are you expecting? We're talking about the show. We're talking about a show. It's called Recap. It's in the title. Know what you're getting into, okay? That's why we're here, all right? Let's get back to the show.
That's why we're here, to ruin everything. That seems to be my life. I'm just going to ruin it all. Everything. I think my thumbnail, did you see the thumbnail that I made for this episode?
Oh, I did.
I questioned myself because it's Natalie, the two Natalies looking at each other on the plane. And I was like, man, I don't know if I should use this thumbnail, but screw it. I'm doing it anyway. It could be anything.
Exactly. It could be Photoshop because we've seen that plane before. We've seen
the plane. These two have been in each other's presence in a flashback. I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just... This was everything. This I was not, I was skeptical. I was like, man, I hope this season finale is something. Yeah. And it did not disappoint. You and I went over some points at the end of last episode show, and I'm finally 9 episodes into season 2, and some of my predictions finally paid off because I was about to quit. I was about to quit even making any assumptions, but so let's get into this, Rory. Let's start out. Of course, we got to do our playlist and the quote of the week.
Yes.
So the playlist had a lot of interesting music. It had 2 different versions of one of my favorite songs by Echo and the Bunnymen called The Killing Moon. The Killing Moon. That song... I can't, that's all I can do, or I got to start paying money. 2 versions. You had the cover by Nouvelle Vague, I think, and then you had the original at the very end by Echo and the Bunnymen. Loved it. We had Radiohead, Street Spirit. We had Sad But True cover by St. Vincent, originally by Metallica, and of course 2 other songs. I was kind of wondering when the Cranberries were going to make an appearance. I'm like, we're 18 episodes into Yellowjackets and 2 seasons. I've yet to hear Cranberries. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you will. But we got Zombie, because that was really the one I was waiting for. It was either that or 10,000 Maniacs. These Are the Days. I just, ironically, the little devil on my shoulders, like that song needs to pop up. And a very interesting song I've never heard before, but I went back and listened to a song called God is Alive, Magic is Afoot by Buffy St. Marie. And it is the song that played when Lottie was getting ready to go in, grown-up Lottie was getting ready to go into the wilderness for the sacrifice. Which I just want to say I called it last week. Somebody's down, but they ain't going out like that. And I think we called the person that was going to die, Natalie. Juliette Lewis, who, while doing press for season 1, was less than thrilled to have to. Maybe she's just not a junket person. I don't know. Maybe she just doesn't like being interviewed. I don't know. Yeah. I love her as an actor. I love her work. Okay. So I was kind of shocked. If it were me doing the music, I'm a huge Natural Born Killers fan. And if you've never seen it, go watch it. Juliette Lewis is an amazing singer. A lot of people, if you're not really familiar with her, she's a beautiful voice. She sings a song called Naturally Born Bad while in prison in Natural Born Killers. And I really thought it would have been a good send-off if they played that in the credits, but they didn't, and that's okay. So that's really all for the playlist. Can you tell me, if you remember, Rory, what song was Walter singing while he was whipping up cocoa in the kitchen?
that was actually the last thing that I heard before we started. He was singing Send in the Clowns, which was written by Stephen Sondheim, which basically the meaning of the song is, if the show is not going well, just start telling jokes, which I relate to too hard.
Hey, do what you got to do. And I had a hard time coming up with a quote because it just, everything kept going to the wilderness chose. It chose. Everything chose. So I decided to quote you, Rory.
Oh, boy.
So you get the honorary quote of the week, and you probably know what it is from our text exchange in our Lord of the Ring jokes.
Oh, God.
It's Frono. And we're referring to, God bless him, Elijah Wood, who will never live down the Frodo jokes from Lord of the Rings. But we definitely, when he comes flying out of fucking nowhere and shooting Kevin, it's just, Roy and RT goes, Frodo. And I'm like, that's it. That's the quote of the week. I got nothing else over here. So that, Roy, you get the honorary for toughing it out. Never phoning it in. You were present, clear and present for every episode, and I really, really, really appreciate. So you get the quote of the week.
Yes, finally won something. I'm kidding.
So
Pulls out trophies.
I don't have a trophy, but I will have something made for you. Here's the thing: do we want to go through the past first, or do we want to go through the present?
It's.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters too much. Let's do the past first for this one, just because I feel like our major send-offs are more so with the present for this one, but yeah.
I'm going to hit my button on my headphones real quick. There we go. Okay. So, man, I don't even know where to begin. The past. I kind of have this broken down into 3 sections. So I have coronation time and up in flames, but we're going to go in the beginning. All right, bear with me, guys. So we're going to start in the past. It's in the cabin era, as I labeled this one. Natalie and the girls are returning to the house with Javi's body basically tied up to a tree branch. This was very similar to me, the Star Wars reference, the very Han Solo style, as I kind of mumbled to myself as they were bringing him to cook him in Return of the Jedi. Anyway, so it happened so fast. The wilderness chose. A tearful Natalie tells Travis, who cries over his brother's frozen corpse. I can't even imagine. The other girls no one is blinking at this point. Can we all agree?
Yep.
We really are frozen. These women are frozen. Their hearts are frozen. I really feel like it's, Lottie is actually horrified to hear what happened, but Misty isn't having it. I can't spell. You started this. It's done, and it's going to save all of our lives. So you better not start making people feel bad about it now. Okay, Misty. Everyone's in a stupor after the hunt, but when prompted, Shauna grabs her knife and heads out to butcher Travis's little brother, Javi, or as my husband calls Bobby, because he was bobbing up and down in that water like a cork. Though he's still so sad, even Travis seems at least slightly okay with the idea of an imminent meal. Once Javi is stripped and laid out, Shauna puts her head wrap over her eyes and feels along his neck until she finds the jugular. Then she slits his neck, and blood rushes out onto the snow below as everyone else goes inside, and she gets down to slicing and dicing. Ben returns. Coach interim to the management, Coach Ben, returns from his exploratory walk, realizes what the fuck happened, and compartmentalizes it for a minute so he can tell Natalie. Dude he looks excited at first. Can we all agree?
Yeah,
Ben shows up.
They got something.
Food, a deer, something.
Yes.
And then pans around and he sees clothes. Nicely folded to the side, by the way. and then looks over on the like to the right there, the clothes, to the left. Oh, there's a head. There's bones and spine. Okay, that's not buffalo.
Not moose either.
It's not a moose. So he compartmentalizes it for a minute so he can tell Natalie about the hidey hole he found. Sorry. I love it. Hidey hole. I couldn't help it. He wants her to come with him, arguing that the two of them can survive the winter down there, and she's not like her murderous teammates. Actually, I'm worse, she tells him. I let him die in my place. So Ben hightails it to the cave alone and tries to start a fire. And that's the last we see of him. You know, this is very reminiscent of me trying to start a fire. I don't think Ben would win the fire competition in Survivor.
No.
Although he's trying. But doesn't he just look so put out, just sitting there? I'm in this hidey hole. I don't know. I got to start this. Hope to God they don't see the smoke coming out and find me.
That's how they're going to find him. Spoiler. Oh, wait. We're on camera. Spoiler. They're going to find him. They're going to find him from the smoke.
Well, you know, and I was thinking about it during my second watch. I was like, you know, he never told Natalie about the location or anything. Exactly. He never said, you know, he never told her anything. He just got the F out of Dodge. He just left.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to finish. I'm just going to go. I'm going to go eat mice or whatever Hobby was eating. He's got no blankets. Okay, let's settle a debate that you and I were kind of texting about. Did he take the poop bucket? He shows up later and he takes matches, a rope.
I hope he did, just because it's like, I'm sorry.
He just tosses the matches in a bucket. I'm like, okay, well, if they get poop on them, are they going to light Ben? I mean,
are there multiple poop buckets?
Yeah, there are multiple. I would think there's multiple poop buckets, but obviously it's okay to have the shit bucket inside because they aren't complaining about it anymore. So, yeah.
We ask the real questions here. Like, are there multiple poop buckets?
We are doing some hard-hitting investigating in this show because I actually was looking at my husband during the second watch and we're sitting there watching it and I'm like, why did he? Okay, so we jokey, Snacky was, how was she cooked? She was fully clothed on the fire.
Yeah.
She was smoked.
Yes.
And she was not bled out.
No.
None of that. Because she'd been frozen for a while.
Correct.
So I would think that Hobby would have been just stiff as a board. I really would think that at this point he had gone in the water, frozen, he's dead, and you're able to just cut him open that easily, and he just bleeds. Like the blood's not. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't do this on a. You know, I don't want this in my Google history because I've looked up some things on Google that have gotten in my algorithm that I immediately regret, and I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it either. I just time frame wise, Jackie was overnight, so probably hours dead, as opposed to Javi was maybe like an hour dead.
Well, she had also been in the the makeshift cellar for God knows how long. They had her frozen in there too.
That's right. Oh shit! Why am I thinking? Okay, yeah. So yeah,
because that's what I'm thinking too. Because I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Because it's not, you know. All right. Well,
she was beginning the mummification process. / she was already into it.
Yeah, and I guess the clothes. Well, we covered all the clothes. Obviously, melted off and all that. So this is a totally. I guess they did. They derobed little Hobby because they didn't want the aftertaste of blue jeans.
No.
Yeah. Let's just go ahead. And I'm living like. We're going to eat this guy, but we're going to give him some dignity. And Natalie just throws cloth over his berries.
That's what I
right?
was gonna bring up. It's like, there we go. My contribution.
Is that not a meaty part of the body? Asking for a friend. No? Crickets? Okay, I'm just saying it's meaty. Yes, it could dip. I don't know. It can be. Okay,
Not
so
answering that.
let's get into coronation time. Yeah. So when it's when it's time for din,
Ah!
Shauna brings the plate of butchered meat into the cabin. Travis reaches for the heart, which is left intact, and takes a big old bite before putting it on the skillet. I don't think from the look on Shauna's face was really expecting him to, maybe it's a rite of passage, maybe because it's his brother. It's, look, this is my brother. I'm going to take the first bite and lead everyone into believing that this is perfectly fine and okay to do. And I'm good because that's personal. That's very personal, the heart. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
We're seeing with each cannibalistic meal the addition of rituals, and I am not excited to the addition of like, oh, take a chomp out of the heart of the person we're eating. No, thank you. I don't need to see that. If the theory is right about Shauna's address being the truth for the survivors, I'm not excited to see this 3 more times of somebody taking a big old bite out of the heart.
I think I'm just kind of wondering if this is just going to be like whoever, I don't know. Maybe it was just a thing because it was his brother, because there just seems to be this, everyone is watching him licking their lip. Like they're so freaking hungry that they're starving. It's like we go back to no one blinks an eye. All the girls just start throwing the meat and pieces of Javi into the pan. And I mean, how do you, I can't even imagine. I couldn't eat my brother. I don't know. I've never been in that situation. That would be devastating to me. Like, I'd just be like, y'all just go ahead and kill me next, man, because I can't. And then Misty, who continues to emotionally abuse Lottie, takes a plate. I mean, does she not? She's like bullying her.
No, I think it's kind of funny because this switch almost kind of makes me question other things that maybe have happened over the course of the show so far. Of like, kind of like over the course of the season, and we're like, wow, I'm really not happy with Lottie because like clearly it's like she's directing everybody down the road we're going towards. But then we see how blatantly, especially because the state she's in, how Misty is able to warp it to the narrative that she wants more.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, Lottie is very pleased that Javi's dead. Lottie's like, what the fuck did y'all do? She's not happy about it.
After she just verbally pummels her, she comes down and she goes, oh yes, Lottie's very pleased with the wilderness's choice. And this kind of brings me back, and it's something that we'll definitely address here when we get into the present, but it's, don't you, the wilderness it was never the wilderness, it was us. Is there a difference? Yeah. And it was kind of shocking for me to hear Lottie say that, but we'll get to that soon. But yeah, Lottie's not, she's very reluctant, but she eats. And she later comes downstairs, for the first time since Shauna beat the living shit out of her. Let's just call it what it is. And what a quick recovery time of healing. Can we just give a shout out to that? I mean, does she not heal pretty quick? I don't even think that much time has passed. And wow, the wonders of Cinemagic.
The wonders of Cinemagic / the healing power of the wilderness. Because again, like, how is Ben alive? Going back to the first season.
I wish I healed that quick when I bite my tongue or knock my knee into a table. I wish I could heal that fast. But no. Well, she comes downstairs for the first time and everyone rushes to give her a hug. But Lottie just seems, she doesn't seem, she's traumatized.
Yeah.
And she just kind of keeps herself. She's tired. Everybody wants a story. And they're all sitting around after they're nice and full and fat after eating little Javi. and they asked, I guess Van is the storyteller now. She's telling story from movies and all this stuff. I don't know if this is an error or not, because I did not have time to get on imdb.com, and I'm sure someone will correct me. They mentioned a couple of movies to tell stories about, and one of them was The Truth About Cats and Dogs. I thought that film came out in 1998 or 97. I didn't realize it was a 96 film. I don't know. Are you looking that up?
I just looked it up. It is a 96 film.
Okay, then it was me. It was me. Sorry about that. So they, they're asking her to tell all these stories. Well, Van gets geared up to just to start, once upon a time, there was this place called the wilderness. And as soon as she gets into it, Lottie just blurts out, I never wanted to be in charge. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. I kind of am curious where Van's going with this story.
You fucking ruined this story. God damn it, Lottie.
Thanks, Lottie. I wanted to see where Van was going. I mean, I was kind of curious, weren't you? Everyone's curious. I wanted to hear this story. I wanted to know.
I'm very curious too, because again, I'm tying back to last season's finale. The two people who were initially followers of Lottie were Van and Misty, and Van was kind of like I think the impression they give us that Van is like following Lottie because Lottie is somehow making sense of stuff, and Van opened up at the end of or during last season. It wasn't really brought up this season that her near-death experiences, she had visions like Lottie is having, I guess, to a certain extent. It's not really been entertained much, but Van is arguably, especially because we see in the finale, the spoilers for present too, but I don't care because we said spoilers at the beginning of the show.
Why are you watching if you don't want to be spoiled? Go ahead.
This finale built a lot of sympathy for Lottie. So for me, it did, because in the past of she didn't want them, specifically, she was like, we ate Jackie because she was already dead. She's like, y'all actively killed Javi for me. I don't want this responsibility. I don't want y'all to be killing people in my name out here. That's why she's like, I am not in charge anymore.
She's like, I never wanted to be in charge, because she even says, that's not what I meant. That's not what I was talking about. You guys actively went out and hunted someone. You drew cards.
To keep me alive.
To keep me alive, and that's not what I wanted. And I think, I said last week, this really makes me question whether or not Lottie is the antler queen. Because you've got to be all in. And I think this does kind of, it's May's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I do like the way they haven't pummeled into us that Lottie is crazy, that she really has, she is hallucinating. She's having all of these feelings. But we also have to acknowledge the fact that she feels things. She's empathetic. I'm a severely empathetic person. I feel for animals. I feel for my surroundings. I can, sympathize with a lot of things. And she's just a very sensitive, empathetic person. She feels everything deeply. And when you put a lot of stress on someone like that, a lot of responsibility on someone like that, you kind of build them up just to bring them down, if that makes any sense. And I feel like that's kind of what was done. Everybody needed something to believe. Everyone needed someone to follow. And Lottie was that person, because she wasn't cracking. She wasn't breaking. She was in her own way staying positive. What she was saying about being this spiritually sensitive person was coming to fruition, and just coincidentally had to do with cannibalism and staying alive. But also at the same, she could be also touched a little bit with ghosts and spirits. I'm nuttier than a candy bar. I'll tell you right now, I'm batshit. And I do feel spirits, and I do feel I've been on ghost hunting excursions. I'm not going to lie. I've been to abandoned naval bases. I've done a lot of things with people where I didn't know certain situations and I felt certain things, and it was explained to me after the fact. This is why you were feeling negatively in this space, and this is why you were feeling joy in this space. So, she has that she's very intuitive. And these people, yeah, you throw pills give them medication that blocks that serotonin, in your brain. Yeah, you're not going to feel it, and you're not going to act on it, and you're not going to talk about it. And she wasn't on her medication in the woods. She was begging for her meds to be upped in season 2. So what do you think, Rory?
This is the thing I'm kind of curious about, because we know from last episode, not finale, but penultimate episode of the season, was that therapist wasn't real.
Yeah.
And we have the knowledge from other things happening. Running a cult, not exactly, the best thing to be doing with your time. Intentional community, whatever you want to call it. But the reality is, we get the glimpse into Lottie post wilderness of, like, yes, they send her to her parents because they got money, send her to Switzerland to recover, and she immediately starts helping people. It's not until Natalie re-enters the picture of her life, who we find out during this finale is the Antler Queen, so eventually basically becomes in charge of Lottie for the foreseeable future, as I'm assuming we're gonna see in these upcoming seasons. It basically, like, reopens the door, potentially floodgates, and maybe, I'm just saying from potentially personal experience, you get to a place where you're like, I don't want to medicate this moment, or I think, like, or like you're reliving things and you're like, okay, I don't. So, like, when this was happening, I was not doing this that I'm doing now. I was doing this, this, and this. So it's potentially that Lottie started spiraling because of that, but she admits when talking to the therapist that she hasn't had point I was trying to get to initially, but I take the back way like normal.
A long shortcut. Hey, I do it all the time. Welcome. We have jackets.
Pink jackets or yellow jackets? No, anyway.
Either one.
So basically to the point of saying she hasn't had visions in years.
Yeah.
She has visions again as soon as Natalie re-enters the picture of her life. As soon as she kills Javi, but not Javi, but Travis. We can't forget about that. So Lottie's not actually truly innocent because she did kill Travis, but
yeah, because see, they were very sympathetic, I think, more towards Lottie during the second half of the season, as where they kind of set her up in the first part to really be a crack job, and
they hit us with the bait and switch of, I think that, like, the beginning of the season, if you had asked me who I thought was being set up to be like the villain, I would have said Lottie. And they hit us with the bait and switch, which I was afraid of in the beginning of the season because of how much we loved Misty. Look at what Misty did during this finale in the past and the present. Like, girl.
God, I love me some Misty.
Love her.
I love how Misty stood. Okay, so Van is telling this story that we never get to hear.
I know.
And Lottie says, I never wanted to be in charge. It chose me. I think because I was the only one who knew how to listen. I can't hear it anymore. I think that's because it doesn't need me anymore. And she's talking about this supernatural force that wants a leader and, who can help us survive the rest of the time we're out here. And it isn't me, but is it Natalie? Because the wilderness thwarted the Queen of Hearts ordained death. Okay. Well, Natalie herself doesn't look convinced of her new status, but as Lottie and then the rest of the group approach and bow, she cries and smiles and looks like maybe she's getting used to the idea. This is where it I'm still gonna stick to my guns about this Antler Queen thing could be a rotating door. Like maybe it's the next person, because the young Natalie does not catch me as someone that's a leader.
That's the thing that I was going to bring up is I think, like, we're potentially going to be playing with, like, the archetypes of different kinds of leadership. So, like, we started out with, reality of situation is the reason why religion is so heavily pushed, is because that's how you get masses of people on the same page. So Lottie, intentionally or unintentionally, has created the religion of the wilderness. So now they have a unified group under the religion of the wilderness. But she does not want to be leader of all things. She's like, I'll take religion. I don't want to be in charge of all things. So Natalie, who was kind of seen as, I think, like reference to like presidents in the sense of like how many presidents have we had that have been like involved in the military, of like she was in charge of hunting. Like she's the one with the gun.
Yeah.
He's now in charge. Now, granted, it was by a kind passing of the torch.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially, are we going to see somebody who becomes the leader democratically? Are we going to see somebody who hostile takeover for leadership? Like, you know, we don't know. But I think it's fitting because, like, obviously I didn't connect the dots until I'm like, oh, the queen card, antler queen. I get it now. I'm stupid. But like,
you're not stupid. It's
title
bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why it's bullshit. And Natalie knows it's bullshit. And they all should know it's bullshit. Excuse my French, because it didn't choose. You guys chose. Javi fell in the water. Natalie tried to help him. Misty freaking Quigley. This woman, she's the, listen, even when Lottie was going, it's not me, it's already chose. She gets up, just throws her blanket off like, oh, it's not me, it's Natalie. Like, it's just kind of like, even she expects, but it's crap. It's all crap. And they even say it later, like, does it matter if it was the wilderness or not? Because everybody, when you're desperate and you're in dire straits, everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody needs something to believe in, needs that thing to that dangling little spitfire of hope. And you've got to have that to live, to carry on. And they all know it's crap. They all watched this kid drown, and they could have helped him, and they saw Misty pull Natalie away. So yeah, the wilderness didn't choose shit. You guys chose to let this kid drown because you're that hungry. And Natalie is just like, yeah, sure. Okay. You know, because to me, she was just like, hold on a second. Whoa. Can I just talk about what, like, I just told Ben, I let this kid die in my place. Like, Ben knows what's up. Poor Ben. Let's get to Ben. Up in flames.
I was going to say really quick, really the one sentence summary for Yellowjackets. Yellowjackets, the story of how Misty Quigley has caused chaos for over 25 years. Because everything at this point is Misty's fault.
Every road leads back to Misty. Every freaking thing. And it starts with the black box. It starts with the black box. Somebody's going to have to come across that thing and see that the transmitter was ripped out. Now, I'm not an expert on black boxes. You could pick it up and go, well, it looks like it broke in the crash, but aren't these things military grade? Aren't supposed to be just ripped apart? I mean, somebody did this. That's how my brain works.
I will say, in the defense of the group, Misty was the only one who paid attention in health class.
This is true.
So, who of this group actually has the knowledge of planes?
Besides, what's her name? Who, Laura Lee?
Laura Lee.
Laura Lee's the only one who knew about planes. She's the only one who's bothered to read that book to know if a black box. But even then, a little commercial plane like that's not going to have a black box.
I even blame Misty for that. Like, I'm sure she rigged that teddy bear at this point after watching season 2. I mean, she did something to the bear to make it burst into flames. I mean, that's all. I can't. Every road leads back to Misty. We know it's not Misty as the Antler Queen because of the end of season 1, episode 1 of season 1. We know. But then again, this could, like I said, could be a revolving door. Anything's freaking possible at this point, especially like if one of my theories comes to life. Whoo, wow.
And here's what I'll say too is I think whether she wants to be the queen, but Misty, if one thing, I did not watch a lot of Game of Thrones, but I do know this. I've never watched Game of Thrones. In the context of Yellowjackets, the only thing more powerful than the Antler Queen is whoever makes the Antler Queen. And that is clearly the title Misty is under. She was the first person to be following Lottie, and she's in present tense. As far as we know, Natalie is the only other Antler Queen. And what's she doing? She's referring to Natalie as her best friend.
Hey, here's the thing. Listen, How is Misty Quigley going to treat Lottie in the past now that she in season 3, now that she's not the oops, I don't have time for you. You're not in charge. Like she goes where there's clout. She's following the leader. So yeah, and she killed her best friend. But yeah, her best friend, not Natalie's best friend. God, I can't wait for season 3.
Multiple best friends.
Huh?
She's killed multiple best friends.
I mean, look what Misty does to her best friends. She kills them. Let's just call it, well, look at Crystal.
I'm scared for Caligula.
Caligula is a bird that can get away once that cage is opened. So let's just hope she's got enough sense to get the F out of Dodge. I don't know, man. Walter, you better watch out, man. Look what she does to her best friends. What's she going to do to a boyfriend?
I am shocked Walter survived the season. We both thought he was dead.
You and I had an argument about what was going to happen with Walter. And you were like, no, he's going to turn on. And I was like, no, I think he's real. I'm going to argue with you, Rory. I'm going to say that he's going to help them out. And he did. And I'm like, whoa, 2 things in a row that I predicted. I'm batting 3,000 here.
That's how baseball works.
Or is that how it works? Is that a high score?
It's batting 1,000 means like you hit every time.
Okay, batting 1,000, but even that's even poor on my, part. My thing is falling apart here. Okay, so let's get into the flames. The up in flames. Just don't listen. The thing is, Shauna thought it would be her. If you went back, I actually went back and was reading what she was writing in her journal. Were you reading it? Like I thought she says, why couldn't it be me? I thought it would be me. I thought it was Jackie that made me feel invisible, but it wasn't her. It was me. If you go back and read, she's putting the blame on herself.
Yep.
So
which is interesting because like this is the first actual glimpse that we've gotten into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. That's fine. Listen, so that evening, while everyone is sleeping and Shauna's journaling and coming to, just light bulbs going off about what's really going on with her, she's working out that frustration in her journal. How could it not have been me? I used to think it was Jackie who made me feel invisible, blah, blah, blah. She's interrupted by an unfamiliar sound. And then she springs into action, grabbing her things and yelling for everyone to wake up as she comes downstairs. And as she does, we see what's got her alarmed. The cabin is on fire. There's a brief panic when they all realize the doors won't open, but the girls and Travis beat on it with various objects and they break through. Even in that brief time, the blaze has gotten considerably bigger. They all manage to get out safely with whatever bags and blankets and shit buckets they can grab. And that's what I'm saying, because I swear to God, Akilah, there are 2 shit buckets, because Akilah grabbed something that looked like a bucket. And they watch in shock as it's completely engulfed and then collapses. And let's just do a side note here. We saw Ben find some rope and matches. And then the fire looks like it started outside the cabin. Well, no shit, Allison. God, I can't believe my own notes sometimes. What, you think it started inside?
Yeah, there's a fireplace in there.
Yeah. I knew something was going on when he snuck up there and he was getting okay, I'm taking these matches. These bitches all of these women, somebody can learn how to start a fire with 2 rocks. I'm taking the matches because obviously I can't.
I was waiting for the commentary from Sandra to be like, we don't have a machete. Like, that's where I thought it was just going, that Ben was just going to steal stuff because they don't know where he is. He's like, well, I need this. And y'all clearly fuck y'all. And he said, no.
Did he take an axe or a machete?
Oh, I was just making this Survivor.
Oh, joke. He took the axe. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was also just making the joke for Survivor when Russell stole the machete in Heroes versus Villains. Well, or hid the machete, I should say. So they would. They
obviously could get out, and they got out, and they're watching it burn. And man, young Natalie has just this look of just I'm kind of like, is she thinking it's Ben, or what is she thinking? I don't know.
I think it's more of just a situation of like shock and horror of like, holy shit, this is our shelter. And I also think part of that, oh shit, if I was Natalie and I just got named like king of the wilderness or whatever the fuck, I'd be like, okay, so I just got put in charge less than 3 hours ago. And we don't have a shelter now. They lit the shelter on fire. I'm in charge and we have no shelter now. We're fucked.
We're fucked. I don't know what else to do. Did anyone grab my antlers as it was in a blaze? Did anyone grab my antler headdress? No? You're all useless. We're not even drawing cards next time. That's how useless you are. I'm just going to pick.
We're just going to go eeny, meeny, miny, you.
We're eeny, meeny, miny, mowing it.
That actually does raise an interesting point. If Van's in charge of shuffling, she could be actually playing executioner if she knows how to actually stack the deck. Like, actually, like, you know, like the magician shuffle or Vegas shuffle or whatever the fuck. If actually knows where she's placing the cards. But also then I connected the dots just to tie it in. I'll mention it now because in the Cabins on Fire, I was confused why Natalie's burning the queen. And I'm like, oh, because the cabin caught on fire. That was like a little spoiler for the end of the episode.
Yeah. How many? I don't play cards. How many queens are in a deck?
There are 4 queens because there's 13 cards of each suit, 4 suits in a deck, 52 cards, but they take out all the queens except the one, so that's 51 cards.
Why didn't they take out all? If they were planning on not going through with all of this crap in the first place, why didn't they take all the queens out?
For the present, yeah. That was.
If you've called the loony police and they're coming, we'll just sit here and draw all these cards for an hour.
I think they were trying to keep it real for Lottie, because they're like, she's the one who's having the delusions right now, so we have to keep up the appearance for her. That was the whole point of them starting it. Sorry for jumping to the present, y'all, but like, I think that's why they did it. But even then, they begin by showing the queen. But like, yeah, they should have just like Van should have just done a little sleight of hand thing and gotten rid of it. But
I was kind of waiting, like when Melanie Linsky, when Shauna was shuffling, like, can I see the deck, please? Can I do that too? You know, just I was kind of waiting maybe for her to stuff a card in her sleeve or something. I don't know. I thought maybe they marked the queen. I don't know, but it's just my way of thinking would have been, let's just. Because we're killing time anyway. It'll be as real as possible, but we don't want it to get to that point. So let's just take them all out.
Yep, literally, you just go. Look, here's the queen. Here's the queen, right? And we start shuffling.
Yeah, just throw it. No one will notice that.
No, not at all. You definitely didn't see it fly off.
No, I didn't see a card go flying.
No.
Okay, well let's dive into the present. Shauna makes like she's in agreement with Lottie about the wilderness because she hugs her and she's like, yes, let's make another sacrifice. But as relieved Lottie runs over to hug her, Shauna's face, you know, she's facing the other way and makes it clear, you know, this is a ploy to buy them some time. Along those lines, Shauna suggests that if they're going to make a sacrifice, we need to do this right. That means we need to do the hunt, the mask, do it all at night. And in Lottie being as unhinged as she is, oh yeah, I'm on board. The woods are ours tonight. And I'm gonna, you know, you need to tell all your purple people eaters or whatever to keep them all away. Everybody needs to stay away because we're gonna be up to some old school shenanigans going. Acting like animals, running and chasing, you know, depending. But, you know, they discuss their options when Lottie leaves. And commitment in a mental institution seems like the best bet. But Natalie points out that Lottie is murderous. Remember when she was ready to serve them that dose tea and she thinks it's talking to her again? Have you all forgotten where this leads? Nevertheless, Misty, with the help of Walter, who sneaks his way into the commune, calls Lottie's doctor to arrange a crisis team to come get her that evening. But Van ain't having it. She doesn't like that idea. saying that Lottie is affected by the same thing that warped all of us. Or if she is sick, Van says to Van, you're sick. Okay, have I mentioned that they're making extremely creepy masks at the same while all this conversation is happening? Elsewhere, Natalie finds Lisa and warns her to leave the property in order to keep herself safe, but gives her no other details. And they have a kind of a not. This is the big tip off to me that Natalie was dying, was when she turns and looks at Lisa and she says, "Thank you for forgiving me and showing me forgiveness. It seems like a nice idea." There was something in Juliette Lewis's face that kind of reached through that fourth wall and was no longer Natalie, and it was Juliette. And I just kind of felt like, yeah, she's biting it. She's done. This is it. And it was just, that's why I was not shocked when it all unfolded the way it did.
That was her red flag.
Hold on. As soon as she made that speech, here it is. Red flags. You know, whenever you're watching like a season finale or something like that, and somebody's got a moment like this, to me, it's just, yeah, where are you? Come on.
Am I here?
Don't fall out of the chair.
I'm good.
It's a red flag. It's a dead flag. I hear taps. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So that's going on. And this one's called Walter to the Rescue.
Oh my God.
This just made the whole episode for me. I love freaking Elijah Wood so much, this little hobbit ass. I just love him. I just love everything about him. Unbeknownst to the ladies, Jeff and Callie arrive at the commune, followed, in tow, basically riding their ass down a 2-lane road. And they don't really notice until they get there. Followed closely by Detective Kevin with a Y and Detective Matt, J Matt, as I call him. When Jeff sees Kevin talking to Walter in the kitchen. Okay. So at this point, Jeff and Callie are in the car. They're going to go get Shauna. Jeff has been talking about, we can't Google ourselves anymore. Callie's like, Dad, you Google yourself? What? Who hasn't Googled themselves? I Google myself. Oh, you're lying. If you've never Googled, you're a liar.
You are.
We got to get passports made. We can't go to our favorite takeout. We can't get freaking McDonald's anymore. We can't do anything. They make it look so easy in the movies. This is going to be so hard.
Yeah, I've seen that Harrison Ford movie. It's not that hard.
It can happen.
I could go on the run.
You could just dye, you're just
I'm
dye
a different
your hair.
person.
Dye your hair and you'll get away.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bleach in the other room. Let's go.
Let's go. Not a big deal. All Jeff would have to do is shave his head or dye his hair black. Callie goes blonde. Shauna goes red. It could happen. Maybe Jeff should be the redhead. I don't know. He's kind of, Shauna's got a redhead personality. She's got the ginger.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we've got, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read my notes here. We've got, Elijah Walter is whipping up some cocoa and he's singing shows. He's just singing. He's in his element. He's just there. Kevin waltzes in and he's like, who are you? How did you get in here? I'm going to call the police. And Kevin's like, oh, actually, I'm the police. There's my badge, whatevs. And he's like, oh, you're a real detective? Well, I'm a true detective. Have you ever heard of us? Like we saw, and all this stuff. He's like, oh, where are my manners? Let me get you some hot cocoa, which he has laced. What did he put in the cocoa? He says it in.
Basically, they hit us with Chekhov's gun. When Lottie introduced the phenobarbital in the last episode.
Okay.
That's what he used to poison Kevin with a Y.
He euthanize him. So this shit's on tap.
Killed Kevin with a Y. So Citizen Detective, as I said to you before, more like killers and not so anonymous because they're all.
Yeah, so we just have this shit on tap just laying around. Like it's so easy to get. Jesus. Okay, so Kevin, Okay, here we go. When Jeff and Callie sneak up and they see him in there, and Jeff's like, "Okay, Callie, go find your mom. I'm going to take care of this." And she's, "Don't worry, I've got this under control." She's like, "Well, what does that mean?" Because you just told me mom took on a carjacker and just snatched that gun out of the carjacker's hand like snatching a wig, and she's got a gun now, and it's in the gun. Because Callie obviously goes back and gets the gun out of the glove compartment. Obviously, that's where it would. They don't ever show it, but it goes unsaid.
Put it in a safe place, the glove compartment.
Yeah. So he sends her away. Jeff goes inside to confess to Adam's murder. Kevin is like, "What are you doing?" He's surprised by this, and then just falls dead, thanks to the I can't say this. Fenipnipritol.
Okay, you move. I was gonna say you move your lips, and I'll say it, and we'll just do the magic of lip dub. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Phenobarbital.
Phenobarbital lace hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Walter creeps back into the room and goes, "Oh, hi," and introduces himself to Jeff, who is just like, "Oh shit, I didn't do this. Oh my God, wake up, wake up." And then he asks him, "Do you need help? Can you help me move the body?" And he's like, he's like, "Jeffrey," he like snaps. He's like the sweetest, Walter's just he calms him down. He's like, "Jeffrey, did your mom call you that? Do you mind? I understand this doesn't make sense right now, but it's going to be okay. I promise. Just help me move this body, get the feet. It's going to be okay. Just come on, man."
Here's what I'm thinking. Like, the thing is he's a millionaire or bajillionaire or whatever the hell because of the accident, right? Because he's got a metal plate in his head. But clearly that ticker's still working in there. So I'm wondering if he made up that scheme too.
There's no telling. I mean, maybe he was not that smart and the plate enhanced it and he's like superhuman now. I mean, you never know. I mean, he could be an enhanced human. We could be dealing with a mutant. I mean, Professor X and shit. I mean, he's just like so calm and collected and just like he doesn't blink. I mean, I could probably count how many times I saw Elijah Wood 0. He and Misty don't blink. These two do not blink. Go back and watch. Misty blinks when she's upset. When she's flustered and she's adjusting her, she blinks. That's when people like when people like that are about to snap and like kill you or take your meds away, they blink and fast. So you better watch out.
Rewatch season 2. How many times does Elijah Wood blink?
I'm telling you, go back. I notice shit like that. I'm like, this dude is not blinked. Frodo Baggins ain't blinking.
Is that another side effect of the ring? No blinking.
It's the ring. Girl, we're about to get into some big old Lord of the Rings in them. You already know. Meanwhile, Callie runs into Detective J. Matt in the dark and wait, where did she get that gun? Well, we all know where she got the gun. And they exchange words and things are getting tense between them when Matt gets and this kind of threw me for a minute because then I was like, did they not lace him with Fernandino? Or did he just knock him out and he came to and they've got him talking? Like, I couldn't really figure it out at first, but he does get the weird call from Matt's phone and reluctantly he leaves because he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?" Blah, 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 blah. And he finds Kevin in the trunk of the car. And if the guy wasn't dead before, Walter this little guy, he comes flying out of Satan's ass, out of the was he in a tree? Did they have a super secret tree trunk that he was hiding into, like a hidey hole? Walter was in his own private hidey hole. Hiding is precious. Sorry. I couldn't help it. It just comes flying out of fucking nowhere, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What just happened? He grabs the detective's gun and just freaking
Bang, bang.
shoots the hell out of Kevin's body. Before Detective Max is like, whoa, where did you come from? What just happened? And Walter's just like, hi. And like, he just, once again, not blinking and smiling, like, here we are. And he shoots him, and he's sitting there, he's saying, we've learned that Walter he's created a trail to make it look like Kevin was a dirty cop who was not only responsible for Adam's death, but Jessica's death, the reporter.
Wow.
And if Matt knows what's good for him, he'll say nothing and be the hero of the community. Or trail might suddenly lead to him. It's not like, just look. He's like, do you hear what I'm saying? Just listen to me. You're just some ands and buts and whatnot. Or the only, like he doesn't, like, he's so charming with how he gives this to the detective, Matt, that he's like, I'm making you believe you have a choice, but you really don't. I've got this all set up. All you have to do, but this is what I'm confused about. Obviously, he agrees to it.
Mm-hmm.
How are you explaining a dead body in the trunk of a car that you shot? Does he move the body out of the trunk? What happens? Like, what did you do? Throw him in the trunk because he was uncontrollable, and maybe he went for his gun and you went for yours first? I mean, that is the only thing I can think of, because the Law and Order, SVU, CSI crap and investigative discovery part of my brain starts going. But then again, I have to tell myself, it's a TV show, really. Antler queens and shit. Okay.
Yeah. It's like there's parts of it that don't add up, and I think for J-Matt, like we're obviously not done with him, especially because now, like, he's going to be moving up in the chain of command because of his good work here. I don't think his investigation into Shauna and the Yellowjackets is anywhere far.
It's definitely. But can you call Detective Matt a shitty detective? Because he was the one who went in the motel room that Shauna and Randy were in. He was the one who picked up the fake condom doused in strawberry lotion and sniffed it. Like, he was actually went undercover on his own. He cracked the case. If it hadn't been for him, Kevin with a Y would have not a lot, except text messages.
That's the thing, is the way that he was getting evidence would not have been admissible in court. But and he is a villain in the story because we're living this or experiencing this through the lens of the Yellowjackets. But like, if you realize they're all kind of fucked up, that he's kind of like, he's just a young, ambitious man who happens to be a cop who's like, you know what? I'm going to do big shit even though I'm in small town USA. And like, yeah. So like, I think that's where I see his motivation is. But like, yeah, I just think like he's going to get himself into trouble in the future. Like, he is not going to survive this entire story. I'm calling that now. He is going to get killed, I'm assuming probably by Misty, because he's not going to stop looking into the Yellowjackets.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say that Detective Matt is going to be used in the future via blackmail. Something is going to arise in season 3 or whenever in the future where they're going to need him to come through for them, and he's going to refuse. And he's going to be led to believe once again that he has a choice as to what he's going to do. And he's going to have to help them. What do you think?
It depends on if Walter is helping the Yellowjackets still.
I think that he is helping the Yellowjackets because of Misty. Right. I don't think it has anything to really do with the Yellowjackets themselves, because he even said, I don't care that you were a Yellowjacket. I really don't care. But I need a billionaire friend like Walter. Like, where can I get one? I don't want their money. I just need them to cover up some shit for me. Not that I've done anything illegal or questionable.
Okay, good. That was a little bit too long of a pause.
Yeah, I just might need some help. There's some people I know that need to be, given a choice.
fuck? I gotta go.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, like I said, he's gonna be used. So I called this one. Oh, come on now. I called this one. The final act is Good Night, Natalie.
Sad.
Good night, Natalie. Finally, it is time for the ladies to meet up and do their thing. They passed the deck they passed the deck for several rounds, which is just 2, Allison. That's not several. It's felt like a freaking good grief. That scene just lasted forever until Shauna gets the Queen of Hearts card. The rest put on the mask and grab knives. And I just want to point out that that we kind of skipped over this. Shauna dulls the knives down.
Yeah.
And Lottie shows up with her own knife.
Lottie shows up with the knife.
With the knife.
The wilderness.
I doubt that this knife is dulled.
No, because she pulled it out of her curio cabinet that Misty broke into.
That she noticed was open.
And didn't give a fuck.
And gave zeros. Because she's in it. She's in it.
She's in it to win it.
Oh, she's in it to win it, baby. I ain't drawing the queen. I didn't draw in the wilderness. I ain't drawing it now. Come on now. Maybe she's the real deck shuffler. Maybe she knows. Maybe she's counting cards.
Well, I mean, to be fair, she was the one who said after one round, it's like, you literally, they could have just been like, well, guess the wilderness wants us all to live. No, she's like,
yeah, stick to the rules.
Again.
And
Which
man,
does,
I just
which that tells me, again, spoiler, I guess the future deck draws, are all of the other future draws going to happen in one round? And plus, we also do get a spoiler with something that is going to happen in the future, clearly, because of the explanation without the explanation of, you know what happens if you refuse the draw. So here's my fun hypothetical for you. Who's going to refuse the draw?
Mari.
You think I don't know, because Mari's pit girl and she's like fully in it. I think it's going to be somebody else that we've kind of gotten invested. I think it might be Akila. I could see Akila refusing it.
You know what gets me is my daughter-in-law's sister, Mallory, just binged season 1 and 2 of Yellowjackets this weekend, and she was asking me and it felt good, like, I get to explain I get to explain stuff. She had an interesting, she just flat out asked me, Crystal and these other random chicks that just showed up, are they real? Or are they illusion? Like, and I'm like, no, I mean, they're real. I mean, I think that was even confirmed in press. Like, these girls are real. She's like, well, where did they come from? I go, girl, they were on that plane, but they're going to have to explain where these other snacks are coming from in the future. Like, how did they survive?
Here is the short explanation for, like, we could go back and we could physically count off the number of people, because I think they did that because they're not stupid. I think they did that on purpose. Go back to season 1 and go back to after they've buried people, how many people are standing around the graves, because that is our actual number of Yellowjackets we're working with.
Right.
But in the grounds of reality, I don't remember how many people died in the plane crash, but realistically speaking, they sent 2 teams to nationals, because obviously the starting 11, who are our main characters with some sub-characters, and some of them we've already lost, like Laura Lee. And then the other people, like Akila is already confirmed, being on the JV team. So that's another 11. So realistically, we're looking at 22 players, plus like the coaching staff of like assistant coach to the president, Ben.
Yeah.
So like really like 30-ish people on the plane, because that's including the flight crew. So, and then like, I think we buried 5 people off the jump, and plus there was other people who they couldn't recover. So
I'm sure there's a diagram somewhere out there. You ain't gonna find it on this show.
No.
But it's kind of like I don't know if you watched the show Lost. You didn't meet everybody in the beginning of that show.
Right.
People just kept creeping. So, because you can't meet everyone at once.
That's the expectation. I'm sorry, but that is the expectation, because I mean, like, even I think tying it back into the other stuff that's covered here, I think that's the joke people make about certain players on Survivor and Big Brother. It's like, who the fuck are you? You've been in this house for a month.
Yeah.
You've been on this show for a month and a half. I still know nothing about you, because it's like you can't introduce 18 people at once. It hurts your head too much. We're simple. We need like a little bit at a time.
This is a term that I've heard like a lot of people call the red coats. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. That is a term was used. I think the first time I ever heard it, I'm a Star Wars fan till I die, but I do enjoy watching old Star Trek episodes. They are freaking, I don't care. William Shatner, man, and Forrest Kelly, I just love them in these shows. Okay. And I watch all the movies, but they have with a turncoat, red coats. I think the red coats, I'm not really sure. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but those are throwaway characters.
Yes.
And they're people that like, whenever they would beam to another planet, there would be Captain Kirk and McCoy and Spock. And then you'd have like this random guy that as soon as all four of them beam down, random fourth guy is a red coat. He's not coming back. So these to me were red coats in the beginning, but because we're getting into a more intimate setting in season 2, where we are kind of on top of each other in this cabin, you can't just have these girls in the background and not address them. So give them names, give them personalities, give them some kind of purpose. I'm fairly confident these girls are going to draw the queens. I'm fairly confident these girls are going to die. And I don't really want to be invested in them if that's what's going to happen. But like, I will miss Akila. I mean, her and that dead mouse, that was something. And then you had Crystal. You and I were in love with freaking Crystal Kristen. I freaking gave her a eulogy when she died. And she was in 2 freaking episodes. But they were not in the background. 2 episodes. And they weren't even in the background in season 1.
Correct.
I went back and watched this past what was it? After I watched season 1, episode 1 and 2, because those are pivotal episodes with the plane crash. And so that you really see how many people are in the background and what's going on. And those girls were kind of there, but they weren't there. They popped up in random spots. So yes, they were there and they're not hallucinations. So if that answers question. So let's get back into the present. So they pass the deck around. Shauna lands on the queen, and the rest, Shauna's like, are we really doing this? And they're like, you can submit or you can call, you can run. And Shauna's like, time out, we're not really doing this, right? There's no right? It's just us. In which Lottie says, is there a difference? And that to me kind of shook me, to a little bit, because Lottie was into it. And like you said before, Van was into it. And eventually, what's her name? Natalie gets into it. And Thaisa buys into it. What happened for Van to no longer believe in it? And now you've got Lottie kind of going, I was very shocked by her saying that. Is there a difference? Does it matter? Because you're talking about it. Travis died because of it, or supposedly. You didn't push the damn button. So what has happened? So I'm hoping we get some kind of level off of what happened in this house that started out as 1-story, that turned into 2-story house, that now is a split level house. So I want to know how we went from A to B to C. Okay. I want to know how this became a split level. Like, I'm dying to see that in the next season. There is going to be a season 3 that has been confirmed.
Yeah. I can't wait for season 3 where we learn about the basement.
Girl, we're going to address some shit when I'm done. Let me get through my notes, because I've got things to say. So they are chasing, like Lottie is like committed. Dude, are you running? What are we doing here? Like, I'm going to start running. What am I doing here? I need to build up my wind. Am I running? Am I jogging? What are we doing here? It's been a minute.
We're going to speed walk. And you know the rules? The rules of speed walking is you have to have one heel on the ground at all times. Remember that, Lottie. Remember that. Don't pick up your
Lottie,
fucking
pay
heel.
attention. We're older now. So
Oh,
it's technically not running.
And I guess that's another spoiler of, I think, potential of these future draws for the wilderness. Somebody's going to refuse the draw, and somebody's going to refuse to run, because Travis telling Natalie to run, that made it part of the ritual. Shauna covering her face when doing the bleed out became part of the ritual.
Yeah.
So like they're adding on to the ritual the more times they do it. And clearly there have to be rules in place for if X isn't done. Like, so I think that's I kind of like the foreshadowing without it's not a spoiler because maybe that's just like, we're going to have a rule in case this happens. But I think really it's like, these things are going to happen in the future. Someone's going to refuse the draw. Somebody's going to refuse to run. Or if it's like, okay, if you don't take off, then we're just going to do it here in the living room. Like that almost happened, I guess.
God, I hope they don't do it. Y'all do it outside.
There isn't.
It's like, just go outside and draw the cards and do it there.
It's all outside now, though, because they burned down the cabin.
Yeah, the cabin's gone. They're gonna have to go find their own hidey holes or get in that that plane.
But genuine good thing for survival now. They have charcoal.
They do.
So they have an easy way to start fires now. Sorry, I watched a little bit too much of Alone.
So the charcoal's going to come from the cabin.
Oh yeah, and which basically it makes it easier to start a fire. It's
Right.
the reason why on Survivor, the real trick is getting the first one, because once you have the first one, you have the embers, you have charcoal, you have easy way to start it up again. So that's why the real trick is getting it the first time.
See, I know nothing about starting fires. I know nothing about charcoal.
I couldn't do it myself,
nothing.
but I know I just too much time watching Naked and Afraid and shows like that.
No, you're fine. Listen, I'm coming to you. If we need to make fires and shit, I'm going with Rory.
I don't know
I'll
how
make
to
you
do
laugh
it,
while
though.
you're making the fire, okay?
I'll be making jokes. So send in the clowns.
Send in the clowns.
It's me. Hello. Oh,
well, while they're chasing, while they're speed walking and jogging in the woods after Melanie Lindsay, after Shauna, they're stopped by Callie, who has the gun.
Have you actually? I'm sorry, just I can't get the visual out of my head. Have you actually seen the speed walking races?
I have never seen a speed walking race. No, this
Please
exists.
look it up after the show because it's so stupid. I love it. The way that they walk, and now I'm just imagining the entire chase.
Dude, there's a ramp. There's this in my gym. Like the second story is where all the ellipticals and bikes and everything. And you're in the middle, and around you is the track upstairs. And this is where the power walkers and people. Yes! And man, they are into it. Now, is this you're trying to get an Olympic medal kind of speed walking?
Yeah, it's a competitive sport.
Holy shit.
It's a competitive sport. And there's a thing, just imagine it's a track and field track, but at every 10 feet, there was an official to make sure each person has a heel on the ground at all times, because it's the rule for speed walking.
That is amazing. I'm looking it up. I had no idea this was an Olympic event, and if it's not, it should be. Let's do it.
Weekly Meltdown in-person video is the speed walking race.
Allison trains for her first speed walking race because I could do it. I walk fast. I don't know if it's because I'm itty bitty. I'm 4'11", and how tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
5'10". So see, I take 3 steps and you're 1. So I am constantly my entire life keeping up with everyone else. And my husband is constantly telling me to slow down. We went to Nashville on Saturday and went to the huge Opry Mills outlet mall on Saturday. And it's just this place used to be an amusement park, and they cleared it out to make one of the biggest outlet malls. And it's amazing. And I am just speed walking my little ass through. And he's like, slow down, dude. It's not... This place is on fire. It's slow down. So yeah, I could totally do it. So, but anyway, while they're all speed walking and jogging, and after how could they not have caught up with her at this point? But anyway, right as they are catching up with her, Callie just pops out of nowhere with her gun and shoots. I don't think she shoots Lottie. She grazes her arm with the bullet. Like, she gets her pretty good. And she, get away from my mom. And everyone stops and they takes their masks off. And, what happened? I thought we weren't doing this. And Ty admits that that they called it off and it was Van's idea. She just throws Van under the bus. Like, I thought that we had the hospital come in, and Ty's like, no, it got called off as Van's idea. That just made me laugh, because she even does the whole head thing, like, yeah, it was Van's idea. And Van's like, thanks. It's like, that's why we're not together. Snitches get stitches, bitch. And you know what? Thaisa's got a lot of nerve throwing anyone under the bus.
Girl, she works in politics. She knows what she's doing.
Well, that's true. She is a profesh. She just without a blink, just throws her lover, who's got cancer, by God. And you just throw her under the bus. She has enough going on. Take one for the team, damn it. Just couldn't you could have been a we. You could have said, well, we decided it was better. We talked about it. We thought it was better if we handled it. Well, no. How about letting the rest of this isn't a team. There's no I in team, but there definitely is in Thaisa. Because how about not letting the other ladies know what's going on? Natalie would probably still freaking be here.
That's the thing that kind of freaked me out too, is because Lottie was the one who was like, they were doing it for Lottie. Van's the one who's like, okay, and we're gonna keep going. And they're like, what the fuck? Yeah. Because that Thaisa, in a way, like, she bought in, like, as soon, like I think, like, genuinely, to a certain extent, a flip in their heads switched once they actually started drawing, for everybody except Shauna, because Shauna draws the queen. But, like, a switch flipped in their head, like, because that's why we saw Thaisa, like, Van, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
she's really, like, so we're doing this?
Oh, so we're really doing this.
Yeah, we're really doing this? Or what are we doing here? It's like no one was on the same page.
And I'm pretty confident, too, that Van and Thaisa were wearing their Doomcoming masks.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's what I thought, too.
So, real question for Lottie is, why the fuck are you holding on to this stuff? But anyway, that doesn't matter anymore because she's committed.
Lottie gets shot by Callie and just immediately goes to Sean, is this your daughter? She's so strong. Bitch, she just shot you.
I'm sorry, Allison. My brain just made this connection. You know what happened in the finale?
What?
Lottie got shotty.
What did you just say?
Literally, Lottie got shotty.
Oh my God. What are you rambling about? Are you finished?
Maybe.
Lottie got shotty by Callie. That doesn't rhyme.
Lottie got shotty by Callie.
That camera angle. You have the best camera. I've got nothing. I can't zoom in. I can't do anything over here. But I got a mic stand now.
Period.
As
I did too.
Like, I can type. If there were anyone in the chat, I could type to you, but you're not here.
Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll help the people in the chat. I'll send them something that'll help them.
Send them something as I read the rest of my notes. Yes. Lottie starts rambling about the wilderness and how Nat was always its favorite, which makes her, charge Lottie. Like, she's pissed. She's like, God, stop. I don't want to hear it. This, and that. And they're arguing. And she's got her knife and she's waving it around. And Lisa just shows up. These people have their own freaking hidey holes. Jeff was peeking out from behind his hidey hole when Walter was taking care of business. Maybe he was sharing the same hidey hole as Walter. You got Callie in a hidey hole. You've got freaking Lisa with a shotgun coming out of her hidey hole going, what's going on? You told me to leave. Now, she's shot. Lottie is shot. what's going to what is going on here? And as Lisa freaks out about everything, she said, you killed people, you did this or that. Well, Misty has got the Ferliberdar in a syringe behind her back, and she seizes the moment as Misty does, and she charges at Lisa. And this is when we have like a montage of Natalie going, I let him die. I let Javi die in my place. It's my fault. All this. And she gets in between Misty and Lisa and takes the syringe. See, this is what this whole season I've been sitting here what is Lisa's purpose in this show? Like, why is she even in season 2? To throw our scent off Wilderness Baby, which was my stupid theory, was that it wasn't. One of my theories wasn't true. Chew on that and let me know how it tastes. Like failure, because I'm terrible. And, so now we know what her purpose was for. So she pumps Natalie full of fentanyl,
it could have been. Here's the thing: is because we saw her drawing vials in season 1. It could have been like,
I think it was fentanyl,
the medical grade stuff that she has from her job, or it was the phenobarbital that Lottie had here at the compound.
I'm gonna go with it was fentanyl, because if you're listening because I really heard it on my second watch, they say there was a drug overdose, and they're saying it was Natalie died of a drug overdose. So I'm thinking it was fentanyl. I'm like the stuff that she laced Jessica's cigarettes with in season 1.
Yes.
Okay. Well, again, they all wonder what to do. What do we do? What do we do? Nothing, Misty says as she's crying. It's too late. We see Natalie in a dream kind of vision, mystical moment, sitting in a dark airplane going through turbulence. Javi and a younger version of herself are with her. It's okay. You were always supposed to be here. That's what young Natalie says to her. Then young Lottie shows up. It's not evil. It's just hungry. Let it in. She puts her hand on her chest. Natalie puts her hand on young Lottie's hand, and she takes it in, and she dies. And the local police arrive. They determine that Natalie is dead. And yes, Misty did it. But Van and, oh God, whatever. But Van and Thais are pretty damn guilty for hastening the whole mess. Like, if they had just gone along with the plan, to me, they're just as responsible for Natalie dying, for changing the plan and not letting anyone know. So she's taken out in a body bag while Misty cries in Walter's arms. Shauna's surprised to see Jeff there. But after everything that's happened in the previous 20 minutes, she can barely muster a raised eyebrow. Thaisa gently informs Lottie that, we're gonna keep you, they're gonna keep you for a little while, whatever. But Lottie seems unbothered. We're gonna check in on you from time to time. We're gonna look in on you. Because that's what, that's what someone wants to hear that's in the back of a bus that's about to be strapped to, it's like and listen, I just want to give props to the lighting department and the cinematographer in this episode, the makeup, everything. That all they did was darken the eyeliner on Lottie's lower lash line and give her some light underlight. And it made her look insane. And you could do that with any lighting or just heavy on the eye makeup. Man, she just still in that daze, still with that look. And she says, we gave it what it wanted. It's pleased with us. She happily tells her friends, who look very disturbed. Then to Van, she says, you'll see. Who wants to bet Van's real bad cancer will be miraculously gone next season? End of season 2 by Allison S. Kelly. Are you on the phone?
Yeah, with the producers.
Yes.
They better not pull some stupid shit like that.
She's going to be curious, because if we're going the lost route, I don't know what's going to happen in season 3. I'm just kind of like, for once, I'm really like, I have no idea. I hope it's ridden with flashbacks. I really want to get into what happened out there, like the rescue. I really want to get into all that. I also want to get into the present time, like where's Steve?
Where is Sammy?
Where's Sammy? Where's Tyus's wife? What's going on with her? Because she doesn't give a shit. Someone has to. What's going on with her basement?
They abandoned so much shit this season.
They left out Randy. Randy is shooketh by the FBI.
I want Randy to actually be interrogated by the real FBI now.
I mean, there's got to be cleanup. There's going to be a bunch of cleanup, I'm sure, with Detective Matt taking the bait and doing all that. There's got to be, but there has to be. There's always loose ends, but I don't know what direction season 3 will go in, because there's no, well, there could be, I don't know. Maybe there's no more murder mystery. Maybe we follow up with Larry, who's running the front desk at the No-Tell Motel. You know, what are we doing here? What do you think's happening? Steve, are we going to put a GoPro on Steve and see what he's been up to?
I'm going to put the Ring doorbell on Steve.
Yeah, let's put a Ring doorbell on Steve. I mean, are we going to get into, let's make a bunch of Lord of the Rings show. He's protecting his precious. What's Frodo Baggins going to do?
Blink. That's what he's going to do in season 3.
I mean, what's happening here? They put on the ring.
Oh my God. Big bold prediction for the plot line of season 3. Lisa is going to replace Natalie in the circle for Yellowjackets, despite not knowing anything about what they fucking did. But Lottie's gone, so there's no one to run the cult. So the cult's going to just disband because the police are now involved. Clearly because, you know, they showed up.
Lisa heard everything.
That too. So she's
that was
basically
unexpected.
Like, you're one of us, or she's going to be the whistleblower.
I mean, they totally just glossed over that. Maybe she went home and got another fish. I don't know. They could come across her. She's trying to tell the police what's going on. You know, this is what I heard, and they're not going to buy anything, you know, and Matt, you know, Detective Matt is like, yeah, whatever. You know, she's a former drug addict. They could blame it on that. Who knows?
We're going to get the Lisa and J Matt team up to take down the Yellowjackets. That's going to be season 3.
Yeah. I don't know. Detective Matt could be like, yeah, I'm going to take this bait and I'm going to be a hero, but this ain't over yet. I'm going to try to stir the pot. Who knows?
That's what that is the very obvious domino I feel like they've set up, is that he's going to like play along with Walter's rules so that he doesn't get in trouble, because Walter basically said, and if you don't do what I tell you, maybe you're involved in this too. Maybe you're also now part of the cover-up. And then you go down and you go away. So he's going to try and play the game within Walter's rules, but still get the truth out, because I think that's also part of his thing, is of like, he's like, I still need to put away the person who actually killed Adam Martin and clear Kevin's name now.
Yeah, he could have a come to Jesus, or he could really enjoy being the hero, you know, and not, I don't know, but like, I think for the first time, I'm really left wondering, like, if they did confirm there is a season 3, they're writing it, but due to the writer's strike, they had to pause. So if they were to end the series with season 2, this would be like, if they weren't going to do a season, this would be the perfect way to end it. But I want to see what happened. I want the rescue. I want to dive. We know what happened now. We have a clear vision of how they chose and all of this, the Antler Queen, all of, you know, that was a little twisty twist for us. So now let's get into like, what state were they in when they rescued? Maybe there's going to be an investigation into the bodies and everything, like what happened to these girls and what happened. Maybe Matt decides to spearhead that. I don't know, and I'm not throwing anything else out. I think we may open season 3 with Natalie's funeral, and I think Coach Ben's going to show up. It has not been confirmed that Coach Ben is dead.
That's
okay? He could have survived. He could have made it. He could show up at the funeral and cause trouble. At the funeral, we could have more girls that lived. But I mean, you saw how many girls, and they have at least a year to go with surviving. So how long are we going to survive on so many people like that we've got left? So,
well, is it me? Am I lagging?
it might be me. It might be me. You're you're lagging, or it could be me lagging. I don't know. Are you there? Okay. I don't know. Guys,
I'm here.
okay, there you are. So guys, put in the comments where you think season 3 is going to go, because we're coming back for season 3.
Period.
And, personally, I think we should find another show to watch in the future. We got time. Maybe. I know I have time. I don't want to assume you have time. But, Big Brother doesn't start till August 2nd because of the writer's strike. So I'm filling in gaps here.
And they still haven't called me, so.
They haven't called me either. And I'm 23 years into this.
Yeah, I know, like, we have the pregame final too, which they have been okay with before, because Tommy and Christy. So, like, I need to know what the fuck is going on that front.
What is happening? I don't know. But I mean, I'm excited. We probably won't get season 3 for a year. I think it'll come out in a year. I'm going with because if they start filming this winter, it'll be the summer. So hopefully we'll get the writer's strike under control and we'll get that going.
You know what we should do? We should just combine both of our brain powers of like how bad we are at predictions. And for season 3, we should make bingo boards of like things we think is going to happen. And we have to try to race to get bingo.
We should. Yes. Now, do we play the bingo cards during season 3? Or do we do it before?
I think like before, like once, I think what we should do, like before it starts, we should make predictions, and then like we should be able to potentially veto each other. So if it's like like one as a joke is like Akilam says a line, it's like no shit that's gonna happen. So it's like like we make predictions of what we think is gonna happen. We can have some joke ones on there, but then like we race for bingo in season 3.
My brain is going to have to really think on that, but yes, we will, because we should do that, because before season 3 starts, we're going to do a wrap up. We're going to do a follow up. Like we'll do this is everything that happened in season 2 and where we think we're going. And we'll at least have a trailer by then to obsess on and dissect. So we can go off that and we'll do our bingo. And I think that would be a lot of fun. So yes, we will be back for season 3, probably in a year. But my weekly meltdown isn't going anywhere. We cover Survivor, we cover Big Brother, we have little BS breakdown shows. Gonna do the Flash movie that Ezra Miller. Oh my God, this one! Wow, they are out there, and how this movie got finished, I'll never know. I'm obsessed with Ezra Miller and everything that's going on in their life, and I'm using the pronoun they and them and their because this person does not they identify with those pronouns. So that is why I'm doing that. Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. That is my childhood Batman. And there's a lot of other rumors. So we're going to do a show about that when it comes out, just breaking down everything. That'll be super spoilery. In the meantime, Rory and I are going to put our heads together. I know you're moving and you have a lot going on, but we're going to put our heads together. We may review a movie.
I'm moving. How could
yes,
you
you're
tell?
moving. I couldn't tell. I thought maybe it was that, or we were doing an episode of Hoarders coming up. We were going to cover Hoarders, and you could say I can relate.
Do you like the cast?
You like the dead animal
of American Idol 5 here in the background?
Oh my God!
I was gonna say, and just like full circle for my ADD ADHD brain. If you want to do a BS breakdown about ghosts and stuff, I also have stories of things that have happened with me and people I know. So like, I genuinely actually have like input.
We're gonna do a show. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pick a movie about ghosts, and we'll break it down, and then with our combined ADD forces, we'll tell our stories while review. It's gonna be a 5-hour show, but hey, you got time. Who doesn't listen to this shit when you're at work or in the car or whatever? It's fine. But yeah, Roy and I will definitely be back. And I just want to say thank you so much, Roy, for toughing this out with me. You are so sweet. I love you to death. And everyone, the one person that's watching right now and the 60 people that are probably going to watch it later, thank you so much. A big shout out to Yellowjackets and Showtime and Melanie Linsky, Christina Ritchie, Juliette Lewis, all the ladies in Yellowjackets. You guys are amazing. You have the best job ever, reliving the 90s. Ugh, God, I was the same age as these girls. I wouldn't go back into. I would Back to the Future it and get a sports almanac. That would be about the only thing that I would do if I could go back. I would not relive the 90s for nothing. No. Oh God, help me. But that is really it. I think we're going to get some more flashbacks. We'll get a rescue montage. We'll get a lot more. Rest in peace, Natalie. Rest in peace.
I'm curious. I have a lot of thoughts again, which we'll dive into on like the full season recap of like where we think we're going. But I also don't want to give you ideas for your bingo board yet because I think they're going to be going.
Because I'm a cheater. I'm going to cheat. And the worst thing about being a cheater is I take it so personal when other people cheat, and that's kind of like when you're cheating on your spouse and then you're the paranoid one. Well, you're paranoid because you're doing it. So that's kind of like I don't cheat on my spouse, but I mean, when I'm a cheater, I'm like, I know you're cheating because I know what you're up to. I'm dirty. I'm flat out dirty. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to run the outro, and we will see you guys for season 3.
Buzz.